Assalamu alaikum Faraz and welcome to Roshinama.
Walaikum assalam, Kamlesh. Thank you so much for having me.
मैं चाहता था कि हम किसी तरीके से एक कन्वर्सेशन का तरीका शुरू करें जहाँ पे पाकिस्तान में जितने भी इमर्जिंग आर्टिस्ट हैं, चाहे वो डांस की फील्ड से हैं, चाहे वो फाइन आर्ट की फील्ड से हैं, और ज़रूरी नहीं है कि आर्टिस्ट ही हो। मैं एक ऐसा पोर्टल चाहता था जो ओपन हो हर किस्म के इंसान के लिए, और वो वहाँ पे आके वो अपना आइडिया, अपना जो पर्सपेक्टिव है वो प्रेजेंट कर सकें। तो मैं इस तरह की कोई चीज़ क्रिएट करना चाहता था, और इसलिए मैंने इसको कोशिश की है कि बिल्कुल कैजुअल मोड में हो, ताकि कोई भी बंदा ये ना सोचे कि मैं इधर आऊँगा तो मुझे एक ख़ास किस्म की पर्सनैलिटी प्रेजेंट करनी पड़ेगी या कोई ख़ास किस्म की बिहेवियर के साथ आना पड़ेगा। ये ओपन होना चाहिए। और अभी जैसे आप बात कर रहे थे कि जितने भी लोग हैं, जितने भी पोर्टल्स पे हम देखते हैं या चीज़ें देखते हैं, तो हमने एक चीज़ महसूस करते हैं कि सब लोग किसी न किसी ख़ास ऑब्जेक्टिव के थ्रू कम्युनिकेशन करते हैं, और उसमें ये होता है कि जो मेन गोल होता है या आर्टिस्ट को हाईलाइट करना है, या जो बात आप कम्युनिकेट करना चाह रहे थे, वो यूँ पीछे रह जाती है। उसमें सब कुछ आ जाता है सो उस मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव के। तो इसलिए मुझे लगा कि इस चीज़ को ऊपर कोशिश करनी चाहिए और इसको करना चाहिए।
Definitely, I think that's a very good initiative, and it'll work for the betterment of everybody. I think वो सबसे important चीज़ ही होनी
जी
चाहिए कि जो छोटी सी भी चीज़ अगर गेन कर सकते हैं इस पॉडकास्ट के थ्रू, then why not? Definitely pursue करना चाहिए ऐसी चीज़ को।
बिल्कुल। मैं इस वक्त अपनी रिकॉर्डिंग में देख रहा हूँ कि मेरा जो माइक है वो इस वक्त मेरे फ़ैन को रिकॉर्ड कर रहा है मेरे मैकबुक के। और जब से मैंने ये क्लासिकल रिकॉर्डिंग्स की हैं तब से मुझे ये सारे शोर जो है ना अब सुनाई देने लग गए। पाकिस्तान में ये चीज़ें इस तरह से नहीं होती थी क्योंकि हम वहाँ पे इस तरह काम नहीं करते थे, लेकिन अब जब मैंने
हम बस खुश होते थे कि कुछ रिकॉर्ड हो रहा है।
ये बात भी सच है। काफ़ी चीज़ें आपको बाहर मुल्क में आके आके आपको पता लगता है। आपकी ज़िंदगी कैसे चल रही है, क्या कर रहे हैं आप आजकल, और कैसे चल रहा है आपका काम?
Uh, I'll start off with a small introduction as well, ताकि उससे थ्रू चीज़ें थोड़ी समझ आ जाएंगी. My name is Faraz Amir Khan. I am a visual artist. I graduated from the National College of Arts Lahore in 2016 and have been practicing as a visual artist and educator ever since. And I'm currently employed at a school while I'm also working on my own practice. And जहाँ तक ज़िंदगी के हालात हैं, things are good, things are okay. अच्छे से चल रहे हैं. I have a family. And regarding my own industry, I would say that I work in the creative industry. It's not just कि फाइन आर्ट की एक फील्ड है एंड वो एक अपनी अलग फील्ड है. I feel that the creative industry blends in wherever there is any aspect of visual or image making or sound making involved. तो वो चीज़ें सारे इकट्ठे आ जाती हैं.
तो फराज,
Yes.
where are you originally from, and can you tell us about your childhood background?
I was born in Karachi. Uh, I am currently 30 years old as of this recording, and I had a simple family setup. I would call it a joint family mainly because I grew up with both my parents. I had a younger sister, and na- my house had both my nani and dadi living very close by. So literally, my nani's house was right next door. It was a good childhood. I remember it very fondly, and it was very easy living where I was concerned with things that only concerned me. I never had to worry about things that were beyond my scope of understanding as a child. स्कूल के हवाले से भी स्कूल में अच्छा करना है, that's fine. But it was a very good childhood, definitely.
स्कूल में जिस स्कूल में आप पढ़ रहे थे, were you
Mhm.
exposed to arts? Were you exposed to drawing, music?
Yes, it was a simple old. It was a simple old school. Studied at
Mm-hmm.
Springfield, and it was the same school my father and my Taya studied at. So it had a very close knit system. Everybody knew everybody else. Family friends, we knew this teaching staff. So it was very nice growing up with that school system as well. And while they didn't offer art as an O-level subject in your higher education, like your education, they did have regular art classes up till grade 8. And from a very early age, I could see that art was something that I was naturally good at. Drawing classes, art classes जब भी होते थे मुझे याद है grade 1 से लेके grade 8 तक I would enjoy them immensely. इतनी I remember very clearly कि earlier I would not have to work that hard कि कुछ अच्छी चीज़ बन रही है according to my skill तो वो अच्छी बन गई है and जहाँ तक वो नेचुरली था कि अच्छा आर्ट अच्छा है कलरिंग अच्छी हो जाती है सिंपल शेप्स ड्रॉ कर लेते हो एंड जो आइडिया था कि ऐसे करना है वो काफ़ी नेचुरली आता था सो आई डिडंट push it too hard but also I just remembered growing up I was heavily influenced by what I watched on TV. I was very much into cartoons and comics and I used to watch all the cartoons. We had Cartoon Network, excuse me, and I would try my hand at drawing them, and I would be so interested in the designs of characters, in the stories, in sound, and all those different things related to cartoons, animation, and comics. That drawing itself was enjoyable to me because I wanted to draw those characters. I wanted to tell my own stories. I wanted to do all of those cool things that I saw. So when I, like I said earlier as well, na, ki, I was only concerned about things that interested me, and that way, animation and cartoons and comics, जितना भी मुझे जितना भी मैं consume कर सकता था, I did consume. So that shaped a lot of my very
अच्छा.
early artistic endeavors and uh, questioning. But I remember specifically it was after, I think, grade 8 that I was introduced to anime at through some TV channel. I think it was Bleach that I saw first. And that introduced me to the world of Japanese animation, pure Japanese animation. And that was something that I had never drawn before. I had no idea what that was. And I specifically got into anime and I got into manga. I looked at everything that I could find on the internet at that time, jitna bhi access tha. And and that was where I purposefully tried to improve my drawing and see how these things are made and how these manga comics are created. So that I remember was where I got off, uh, where I got my earliest inspiration to become better at art. Art to aati thi, and I knew
Mm-hmm.
what art and animation was and everything. But being introduced to anime made me
Mm-hmm.
pushed me into a more concise effort that I wanted to improve as an artist, that an artist something. But it was never something that I would imagine that I would do or pursue as my sole career. Even back then, it was just okay, okay, something I can do. It's something I'm very very interested in. But I'll maybe draw a comic. Maybe I'll make a manga. Maybe I'll make animation later on whenever I have spare time, and we'll see how things go from there. I never dreamed of anything. It's very specific that I wanted to be an artist. There was an inkling because मुझे था कि I can maybe be an artist, but only on the side. Okay, as this like take it a little more than a hobby, but not my main career. That was never a thing up until O levels, A levels.
यहाँ पे मेरे पास दो सवाल हैं. एक, what was your family's perspective of art? What do they think of art, and how was their reaction to whatever artistic practices that you were doing? Secondly, did you know any artist at that time?
Mhm. As to the first question, my family was very uh, comfortable and liberal in that sense that they let me do whatever I wanted to do. कभी किसी चीज़ पे रोका नहीं था. Apart from like education, they told me I need to get educated. Sciences, जो होती है ना कि pre-sciences, pre-engineering, that is a field that you can pursue. If you have your sciences done, if you do your sciences and all A levels, whatever you want to pursue later on, whatever you decide on, you can decide on and do that. And in terms specifically of art, my only main exposure was very basic art history wise. And my family didn't, they saw the cartoons that I was watching, they saw the anime that I was watching up until a certain point. I think it was in a grade 8, 9 tak. Then I started watching things on my own on the computer, TV pe. But they never thought much of it. कि अच्छे cartoons देख रहा है, ये देख रहा है, that's fine. And they had an idea of what art was, what an artist is, what kind of materials you can get. Like I found out there's a specific uh, art shop close, not close to my house, but at वहाँ पे I can get all the materials that I wanted to figure out and learn how to work with. But it was mostly self-taught after grade 8, and my parents were okay with that. If they saw me sketching, if they saw me working or painting on things that I was pursuing and buying comic books or things like that, they never stopped me from doing that. And they felt it was fine as long as it did not impact my studies.
तो आपके पास वो मसला नहीं हुआ कि रिश्तेदार क्या बोलेंगे, बेटा ये तो प्रोफेशन नहीं है,
No,
ये तो बस शौक है, आप क्या करेंगे बड़े होके, आप कैसे कमाएंगे, इस तरह के कोई कुछ सवालात आपसे नहीं पूछे गए?
no, because again, relative wise or family friend wise, वो अभी भी ओ लेवल्स ए लेवल्स तक वो ऑप्शन था नहीं कि आर्ट एक करियर है. एंड बिकॉज आई माई सेल्फ नेवर थॉट ऑफ इट एज अ करियर. किसी और से सुनने को नहीं मिलता था कि बेटा क्या करोगे. बट I remember OA levels, even after I got into HCA, all these different things, I never I was never exposed to any of these types of relatives or things
खुश नसीब थे आप.
कि क्या करियर है क्या. हाँ, alhamdulillah. And as in regard to your second question, जो आपका earlier question था, if I knew any artists like that, I had no idea about the local art scene in Karachi. I had no idea about um, Pakistan, what art there is in Pakistan apart from the huge national heroes like Satkan and things like that. Poets they, authors they, but artists we only knew that Satkan was this one artist. That's it. I knew a lot about world art, but I never knew about like Pakistani art, and didn't know about fine art as a field as well. My only exposure through my own learning was through animation or comic books and anime and manga. And I made friends online who had those similar hobbies. But I did have this one cousin, second cousin, who went to Indus Valley School as an architect. She was 8 years older than me, so about no, not 8 years. Uh, I'm forgetting the age difference, but she had done her architecture degree, and she was 5 years, 6 years my senior, like that. When I was in England, she had already, I think, completed her degree. जहाँ तक मुझे याद. But again, that was the only exposure my family had. कि an architect is a person who is in the arts field, but it's also very closely linked to engineering and design and something that has a proper career. We do not know any artists in that sense. We do not know any painters in that
हाँ,
sense.
मैंने ये
जो
सवाल
आप
इसलिए भी पूछा था, सॉरी, क्योंकि मैं जब बड़ा हो रहा था और जब मैंने डिसाइड किया कि मैंने एनसीए में म्यूज़िक पढ़ने जाना है, तो अगर मैं उससे
हम्म,
पहले ही अपना लाइफ में देखूं कि डिड आई न्यू एनी आर्टिस्ट और डिड आई न्यू एनी म्यूजिशियन इन माय कम्युनिटी, द आंसर इज़ नो। और मुझे लगता है कि हम अपनी कम्युनिटी में जो आर्टिस्ट बरादरी है या कोई भी
हम्म,
ऐसे लोग जिनका आर्ट से ताल्लुक़ रखते हैं, चाहे म्यूज़िक है, डांस है, किसी भी किस्म की वो आर्ट फॉर्म का हिस्सा रखते हैं, वो लोग गुमनाम होते हैं एंड नो वन वांट्स टू मीट देम टू बी पब्लिक फिगर। कोई अपना बच्चा उनके पास भेजता नहीं है, कोई उनके साथ आपको एक्सपोजर नहीं कराता, और ये लोग
हम्म,
आपको कम्युनिटी में इतने ज़्यादा फिज़िकली दिखते भी नहीं हैं। तो मैंने ये सवाल इसलिए भी आपसे पूछा था क्योंकि
yes,
मैं कोयटा से हूँ, इट्स अ डिफरेंट कम्युनिटी।
हम्म,
तो मेरे दिमाग में जो कराची का बच्चा होगा, जो कराची से आ रहा है, मेरे दिमाग में वो बच्चा एटलीस्ट मुझसे तो ज़्यादा ही एक्सपोज्ड मेरे लिए था वो, कि भाई इसको ज़्यादा चीज़ें पता होंगी। बट आपके केस में मुझे पता लगा कि इन द एंड हमारी कम्युनिटी चाहे कोयटा में हो चाहे कराची में हो, कहीं ना कहीं एक ही तरह की चीज़ें होती हैं।
exactly. And I see that as well. क्योंकि coming from an upper middle class background, uh, we were living comfortably. We had television, we had internet. तो access था, और access किस चीज़ के लिए था? It was access to well documented and easily accessible things on the internet or on television of uh, Western cartoons and artistic things like music and music videos and all these different things. Or Japanese animation अगर मुझे वहाँ at the age of 13 14 मिल रही है, I had well documented understanding of what these art forms are, but I never pursued anything in the local or national art scene because it just didn't interest me, because it wasn't put out there for me to look at or receive. And I think I, I think the only Pakistani art that was close to what I was interested in was like Commander
और
Safeguard
नाइस।
and this one Caltex backed comic book about, हाँ, it was called Super
अच्छा
Tigers.
अच्छा।
तो ये तो चीज़ें थी जैसे कि अच्छा, दिस इज लोकली मेड एंड दिस इज लोकल पाकिस्तानी
मटेरियल।
artistic thing. And even then उसकी quality, जो obviously quality थी उस हाल से, it was like something that I found amusing and something I found interesting, but I never thought कि कुछ और भी था इसके अलावा, because my interests were solely in what I had found on my own. And हाँ, it was only until I had done my A levels and things were clearer to me that I started looking at what is possible and what is not possible. Because my up until my O levels, things were okay regarding my education. I'd gotten okay grades, B's, 1A in English. Things were fine because I always had this access to English because I watched so many cartoons. I read all these comics and books. जो भी थे, the English was okay. It was fine for me. Parents, my also I'm also speaking. Uh, मतलब महाजिर ही हूँ because like I can trace my family back from to India, Bangalore. My society town भी ऐसे ही थी, हाउसिंग सोसाइटी थी बैंगलोर में, बैंगलोर टाउन, कराची. And uh, let's see. My education up into my O levels was fine. Science was interesting. I had a good interest in it. Maths was fine. But it was in A levels where I was continuing my education in pre-engineering as a science field that things took a very sharp turn. I, I tried as I might, चीज़ें बहुत मुश्किल हो रही थी,
अच्छा,
and it did not get satisfactory is a long way away. I got terrible marks.
नाइस।
I gave my A levels and I got terrible marks. Failed a lot of subjects. Chemistry completely flunked. I wasn't even awarded a grade for that. Physics नहीं चल सकता था. Maths I scraped by. Maths was still interesting, but I had to take tuitions for that. And again, यही था. That was when I had a proper serious conversation with my parents that, and they also saw कि अच्छा ए लेवल्स के 3 साल मतलब हाँ सॉरी 2 साल हो गए हैं और चीज़ें इम्प्रूव नहीं हो रही. Maybe this is not a field that I can do. Maybe there is something else that I can look into that I'm interested in. And after my A levels, I had friends who had a perfect idea of what they wanted because they were looking at IVS,
अच्छा,
Indus Valley School. And वो एक था कि okay, go to Indus Valley School. There's Karachi University that has an art
प्रोग्राम।
program in fine art and all these other things. There's also Karachi School of Art. Uh, After my A levels, I took a gap year because I applied privately for a sociology exam as sociology as a subject, so I can get the grades and then give my get the required grades to be equivalency
अच्छा,
pass.
अच्छा।
जो होता है ना कि आपके पास होता है. मुझे चीज़ें बिल्कुल भूल जाएंगी
नहीं,
ऑब्वियसली
दैट्स फाइन,
10
दैट्स फाइन।
साल हो गए.
वो मतलब आई अंडरस्टैंड कि वो चूँकि आप ए लेवल्स में थे, दैट्स अ डिफरेंट एजुकेशन सिस्टम। तो पाकिस्तान में आपको, अगर पाकिस्तान में ही आपने कहीं यूनिवर्सिटी
बस
में
एक
एडमिशन लेना
इतना
है।
पता चल गया था कि हाँ यूनिवर्सिटी लोकल यूनिवर्सिटीज़ के एडमिशन के लिए आपको चाहिए थे 3 A levels सब्जेक्ट्स जिसके लिए वजह से आपकी एक इक्विवेलेंसी
हाँ,
बनती है.
हाँ, बिल्कुल इस तरह था। तो अगर फराज,
और जो मैं
सॉरी, अगर उस टाइम पे अगर
नहीं नहीं
आपके नेबर में या आप किसी आर्टिस्ट को जानते होते, तो हो सकता है कि आपको इतनी मुश्किल फेस ना करनी पड़ती और आप ज़्यादा आसानी से डिसाइड कर पाते। क्योंकि मैंने आपका लिंक्डइन प्रोफाइल चेक की थी, तो वहाँ पे मैंने ये भी देखा था कि आप अपने ए लेवल की ड्यूरेशन के दौरान ही या इस टाइम पीरियड के बाद आपने 1 साल एज ए इलस्ट्रेटर भी काम किया है।
बिल्कुल उसी गैप ईयर में काम
तो
किया था.
क्या उसने आपको हेल्प किया ये
And
डिसाइड करने में कि अच्छा मुझे आर्ट को परस्यू करना चाहिए?
हाँ हाँ 100% बिकॉज अगेन उस वक्त था कि आई शुड ट्राई फॉर आर्किटेक्चर क्योंकि वो एक चीज़ है कि एक प्रॉपर डिसिप्लिन है. इट्स रिलेटेड टू इंजीनियरिंग. इट्स रिलेटेड मतलब आप कुछ काम कर सकते हो. बट आई got an internship at
अच्छा।
dawn.com, Herald Publications, through a family friend. I will always be very grateful to them for that opportunity. And unke through, I just started as a basic intern for the website. Website पे पता चला था अच्छा I can do um, uploading, media uploading. I figured out how to upload stories, how the system works in dawn.com website कैसे run करते हैं. वहाँ पे I met another IVS graduate, Aoife Khalid. She graduated from visual communication design, and unke through I found out that there's all these different fields. It was my time at dawn.com where I was exposed to all sorts of different things, photography, learning how to take photographs, learning how to fact check, learning how to do stories, uploading, and my main push that I did, जो basic newspaper cartoons and illustrations थे.
अच्छा, अच्छा।
I got to do a lot of that, and I've met with a couple of artists in the building there as well. It was a very casual meeting. It wasn't something very. heavy, but I work closely with blog writers, with article writers, and I did illustrations for the
Mm-hmm.
website, and that and then I did a couple of illustrations for Spider
Nice.
magazine, Young Times, Herald. All these different publications had access to me as an illustrator, and I learned what that job entailed. Okay, what the artist, what the writer wants, what the uh, blogger or blog writer wanted from the illustration, and that really really helped me improve my understanding of what an illustration was, what needs to be illustrated, and I had complete freedom with them to pitch any idea that I had with my head and work it out. Um, वहाँ पे भी there were so many wonderful people that I met that I'm still friends with, who were involved in the creative field. Um, Shaima, Nadir, Tabinda, Amna, Kuratile, and Omer, um Murtaza. Like, and I figured out a lot more about what is in Karachi, about the second floor cafe. I learned about who our artists were. That's where my proper understanding of what Pakistani art was, and who Durya Kazi is, who the faculty is at Indus Valley, who the faculty is at Karachi University. Started off very simple with that. And that is when I learned that acha, there is a school in Lahore called the National College of Arts. And that is something that is supposed to be the
Mm-hmm.
best. But I had my focus only on Karachi because I didn't want to go
अच्छा,
elsewhere.
तो
And
सॉरी,
when
अगर
happened,
आज के दिन में राइट
नहीं,
नाउ if there is this boy or girl in Karachi and he or she is interested in art but they don't know where to go and who they should go and meet and talk, where would you say that they should go in Karachi? और वहाँ कराची में उन्हें कहाँ जाना चाहिए जहाँ पे जाके वो आर्टिस्ट कम्युनिटी से बात कर सकें और वो एक्सप्लोर कर सकें, क्योंकि आर्ट एक फैंसी सब्जेक्ट तो है और हर बंदा इसको ग्लोरीफाई ज़रूर करता है, बट एट द सेम टाइम आर्ट
yes,
में पैसे नहीं हैं और पैसे कमाना एक बहुत मुश्किल काम है बीइंग आर्टिस्ट। तो आप क्या सजेस्ट करेंगे,
it
कहाँ
is a very
जाएंगे लोग,
privileged.
कहाँ जाना चाहिए उनको?
Art is definitely a very privileged occupation, चाहे जो भी field हो. But there, I feel now,
हम्म।
with the kind of media literacy and internet literacy that there are a lot more options to find out and figure out कि क्या हो रहा है. Like the Karachi Binale is something that happens now. It never happened when I like back in 2000 when I was doing my A levels,
हम्म।
2010 till 2012, including the gap year. The Karachi Binale was never a thing. और जो भी गैलरीज थे, I had no idea वो क्या थे, कहाँ थे. रंगून वाला फाउंडेशन, I knew had an VM art gallery, but and there were still art classes that were happening because I remember my sister taking an art class at the Rangoon Wala
ओके,
Foundation.
नाइस।
Again, right now I think that since everything is digitized and everything has a digital footprint, आप आराम से जा सकते हो. And
हम्म।
I think the first thing that happens and that should happen is these uh, public art related events or public art events.
अच्छा।
Okay, obviously with my background, I had easy
हम्म।
access. I had a very privileged background. I could easily access all these people. कि कहीं जानने वाले के through या पता पूछ पूछ करके I would figure out कि क्या है क्या नहीं है. I had friends who had done A-level art, and I had access to an A-level art
हम्म।
teacher, and they would guide me and they would okay अच्छा ये कर सकते ये कर सकते. My friends would also guide me. Close friends would guide me, and because I grew up with that support, uh, which is access T, and now I feel that through Instagram, through Twitter, through these public art initiatives like the Karachi Binale, you can go to any gallery opening, you can go to Napa You can go to theater productions, you can go see plays, you can go see public concerts. अगर जो I think अब नहीं होते, but still public art events तो होते हैं where uh, people from any background can access these things. So I think if a young person does not know what art is in Pakistan and what avenues that they have or what uh, places they can go to, they just need to Google or look at uh, things that are happening around in his city. I think that is something that is they can definitely work with. I remember लाहौर में एक ये था बिलबोर्ड आर्ट इंटरवेंशन.
अच्छा.
आई डोंट नो इफ कराची में कैसे हुआ, बट अगेन आई वुड नोट कि प्रिविलेज फिर भी मेट्रोपॉलिटन सिटीज में ज़्यादा होती है.
क्योंकि कोयटा
कि
में जब मैं था तो मेरे तो जिस तरह मेरे कुछ और दोस्त भी जो हमारे क्लास फेलोज थे, हम लोग एक ही सेम एज ग्रुप में थे, उनका आर्ट से एक्सपोजर था क्योंकि वो शहर के एक ख़ास हिस्से में रहते थे. और चूंकि मैं शहर के एक डिफरेंट साइड पे रहता था और वहाँ पे ऐसा कोई सीन नहीं था. अल्दो मुझे बाद में पता लगा कि मेरी 2 गली छोड़ के एक आर्टिस्ट रहता है, लेकिन इनिशियली मुझे इस चीज़ के बारे में कुछ भी नहीं पता था. तो आई थिंक ये सारी पॉसिबिलिटी है. और यू आर एब्सोल्युटली राइट. इस वक्त इंटरनेट और ये सारी चीज़ें आपके लिए बहुत सारी फैसिलिटी क्रिएट करती है, एंड इट्स वेरी इजी फॉर यू टू एक्सेस ऑल दिस मटेरियल एंड यू कैन विजिट ऑल दिस प्लेसेस.
ये भी क्योंकि आप पहले भी एक्सेस कर सकते थे इंटरनेट के थ्रू अगर प्रिविलेज था, बट नाउ वो चीज़ कम हो गई है.
चीप हो गया ना इंटरनेट, एवरीवन कैन एक्सेस इट.
It's good, easier, and it's become easier to find local things that are happening. ताकि आपको तो context मिले. अगर आपके पास बिल्कुल भी zero context है कि अच्छा मैं शहर के इस हिस्से में रह रहा हूँ या उस हिस्से में रह रहा हूँ, तो ये चीज़ें हो रही हैं शहर में इस वक्त या महीने बाद, या अभी कराची बिनाले अनाउंस किया है उसके क्यूरेटर और आर्टिस्ट, और ये चीज़ें पब्लिकली अवेलेबल है. आर्ट इंस्टॉलेशन हुई है, सी व्यू पे आर्ट इंस्टॉलेशन हुई हुई है फाफिजना पार्क में, और ये सदर में एक आर्ट इंस्टॉलेशन है. ऑल दीज डिफरेंट एरियाज, वो engagement I think is very necessary, not only on public levels but also schooling में जब आप जाते हैं तो your understanding of what a visual artist does or what a copywriter does or what a photographer does or an associate director does, uh, जितने भी fields हैं, it's not just कि. और मुझे ये अंडरस्टैंडिंग बाद में आई थी कि हमारे जितने भी विजुअल्स हैं जो हम देखते हैं हर चीज़ में, चाहे वो लोकल टीवी प्रोडक्शंस हो या बिलबोर्ड्स हो या मैगजीन्स हो, on the internet now as well, all these require very creative people who are educated and they know that this is how you make a visual, this is how you make a video, this is how you make
कंटेंट.
sound content. Yes, content now, and this is how you do sound design, this is how you make music. Because music as well was, again, giving my background, my father had a guitar, I picked up that guitar and I learned music as well. But again, following that same thing, music was never considered a career. For me myself, I looked at local bands and was looking at local music kya tha, and it never. I always wanted to be a musician as well. But again, that was also something that I wanted to pursue on the side. कि मैं चीज़ें ये सारे करूँगा लेकिन अपने लीजर पे. I feel now कि where you have so much access कि आप SoundCloud पे अपलोड कर सकते हो, आप Instagram, YouTube, ये सारे प्लेटफॉर्म्स पे अपलोड कर सकते हो. एंड मुश्किल है डेफिनेटली, बट इट्स स्टिल अ वे आउट कि आप कुछ अचीव कर सकते हो इनके थ्रू.
तो फिर ये सारी आपने जब अपनी गोइंग बैक टू योर बैचलर्स आफ्टर डूइंग योर ए लेवल्स इन वट एवर पॉसिबल वे यू कुड डू इट, आपने एक इंटर्नशिप की डॉन में, और वहाँ पे आपको ज़्यादा एक्सपोजर हुआ आर्ट के बारे में एंड यू लर्न अबाउट हाउ आर्टिस्ट डू थिंग्स दैट दे आर डूइंग and you decided to go to NCA. How was NCA for you? What were you expecting from NCA? What did you get out of it? And what are your thoughts about it? How was the selection process for you?
बहुत मजे का था। Because I was trying for all these institutions. I tried for IVS, Karachi University, Karachi School of Art, and NCA. I got up in I got until the interview stages for all these institutions. Uh, Unfortunately, I still did not have the required grades for
Oh, nice.
IVS. IVS still had was IVS's criteria was still three uh, A-level subjects passing
अच्छा.
grades. I still did not have that. I only had two passing grades above D.
Okay.
Whether you had to get a C or a D to get into IVS. I did not have that. I had E's and U's, but there was enough. That was a passing grade enough to become equivalency, and my equivalency भी surprisingly 61%
Oh,
पे आ
very
गई थी,
nice.
which is मतलब अमेजिंग कि आप बिल्कुल फेल कर रहे हो ए लेवल में, लेकिन आपकी यहाँ इक्विवेलेंसी
पाकिस्तान
61%
बोर्ड
है,
में
which is ठीक है। अक्सर
ये आपको हायरार्की
but
का
that
डिफरेंस
opened
नज़र
me
आया
up
यहाँ पे.
exactly and बातें करते हुए ना चीज़ें क्लियर होती जा रही हैं कि आई वाज एक्सट्रीमली प्रिविलेज्ड कि मैं ये चीज़ें परस्यू कर सकता था कि मैं ये चीज़ें आराम से देख सकता था कि जो भी मुझे करना है आई हैड द सपोर्ट ऑफ माय फैमिली एंड once they knew better कि क्या हो सकता है possibilities क्या हैं they supported me all throughout. It was through privilege that I got into Dawn case where I got to know so many more people. uh, I again IVS I could not get into. They rejected me twice. I gave the test. Um, I got up until I had got into Karachi University. They had given me an acceptance letter. Karachi School of Art had given me an acceptance letter, but it was the National College of Arts, way based on uh, reputation alone. Like my father had friends from Lahore who had studied with him in Karachi or grew up with him in Karachi who knew about Lahore and its city and what the National College of Art is और वहाँ क्या हो सकता है. That it's the best art school in Pakistan. I applied for NCA. It's उसकी interview test नापा में ही हुआ था and क्या हुआ था. It was a nice test. I really enjoyed it the most because the drawing test was very challenging and it made me push myself to get it done, and I was really happy with it. But at the interview stage, I found out that even with all of my privilege, there were certain things that I did not know. You could interview के दिन पे I had applied for two programs, the fine art program and the communication design program. IBS में पता चल गया था कि architecture is not something I wanted to pursue. It's too technically challenging. I just don't want to do that. I'm more interested now in fine art and communication design. So I applied for both of those programs. दोनों के लिए interview आ गए थे. And uh, at Napa, sorry, no, Napa नहीं, Arts Council, Arts Council Karachi Arts Council, वहाँ पे सारे interviews हो रहे थे. I was still interning at Dawn, so पहले मैं Dawn गया था, Dawn.com, Dawn के ऑफिस पे, वहाँ से मैं Arts Council चला गया था, which is a short way away. And वहाँ पे I only had a sketchbook that I had on me for work, and I didn't bring anything else. वहाँ पे जाके मैं देख रहा हूँ कि यहाँ 100 बच्चा है हर डिपार्टमेंट के लिए, और जो फाइन आर्ट और कम्युनिकेशन वाले हैं स्पेसिफिकली, उनके पास ये मोटे-मोटे पोर्टफोलियोज हैं that they had made.
कुछ के बच्चे गाड़ियाँ भर के पोर्टफोलियो भी लाते हैं.
Exactly. And वहाँ पे जाके थोड़ी मुझे घबराहट हुई कि एक तो सेल्फ डाउट था ही कि पता नहीं क्या होगा कैसे होगा, बट पोर्टफोलियोज भी आ गए हैं, एंड दैट आई हैड नॉट सीन एट कराची यूनिवर्सिटी, आई हैड नॉट सीन एट कराची स्कूल ऑफ आर्ट और एट आईवीएस, जहाँ तक मुझे याद है कि पोर्टफोलियोज आके बन रहे हैं। वहाँ पे आई मेट टू पीपल, वहाँ पे आई मेट
ओह
सद्दाम।
नाइस।
हाँ, मुझे कोई आइडिया नहीं था ये कौन है क्या है, एंड एट कराची यूनिवर्सिटी आई मेट
ओह,
उन्नीस,
ऑफ कोर्स।
आई थिंक यहाँ, हाँ यहाँ पे भी थे, एंड शमामा वाज आल्सो देयर। तो ये 3-4 बंदे हु आई मेट लेटर ऑन इन एनसीए, दे वर ऑलरेडी देयर, और वो चीज़ें डिस्कस कर रही हैं कि अच्छा तुम्हारे इंटरव्यू में क्या हुआ, तुम इससे क्या सवाल पूछे गए, ये क्या हुआ। एक बंदा था, उसका नाम मैं भूल रहा हूँ, उसने स्पेसिफिकली नेशनल एनसीए जाना था, एनसीए पिंडी,
अच्छा अच्छा।
और वो सद्दाम के साथ बोल रहा था कि जब तुमने अपने प्रेफरेंस बतानी है ना, प्लीज़ प्लीज़ प्रेफरेंस बताओ इस लाहौर की, मुझे इस्लामाबाद
ओह
जाना है,
नाइस।
तो तुम लाहौर जाओ। ऐसी चीज़ें बहुत फनी थी उस वक़्त, एंड आई फेल्ट वेरी अनप्रिपेयर्ड कि यार ये लोग बच्चे स्टूडियोज़ जा रहे हैं या आर्ट क्लासेस हो रही हैं। मे इट्स माय फॉल्ट कि आई डिड नॉट लुक एट ऑल ऑफ माय ऑप्शंस कि ये आर्ट क्लासेस कहाँ हो रही है, ये पोर्टफोलियो मेकिंग सेशंस कहाँ हो रहे हैं, इंटरव्यूज़ कहाँ, इंटरव्यू ट्रेनिंग कहाँ हो रही है। तो वहाँ पे आई एम सिटिंग देयर, पूरे दिन मैं वहाँ वेट कर रहा हूँ, एंड व्हेन आई गॉट कॉल्ड फॉर द इंटरव्यू कमिटी वाज़ वेरी सरप्राइज्ड एज़ वेल कि बेटा आपको पोर्टफोलियो कहाँ है? मैंने बोला मैंने बनाया नहीं है, मैं बस ये एक स्केच बुक है दैट आई हैव, जो कि मैंने बाहर छोड़ी थी। तो उन्होंने बोला अच्छा ठीक है स्केच बुक लेके आ जाए प्लीज़। They saw कि अच्छा they asked कि मैंने कुछ किया है, I told them about the internship. I work as an illustrator. Uh, this thing has been published in this newspaper, this thing, and they did not ask me any question at all for the fine arts interview. बस अच्छा ठीक है बेटा आप जा सकते हैं, थैंक यू। मैं चला गया बाहर, मैं ओके ठीक है, आई स्टिल हैव माई, हाँ वहाँ पे एक और सवाल, एक और ब्लंडर ये हुआ था कि बिकॉज आई हैड अप्लाइड फॉर टू departments, the communic I did not realize that the communication department, और मैं आराम से बैठा था
अच्छा, तो तुम्हें पता ही नहीं लगा?
फाइन आर्ट्स के, उससे पता नहीं अच्छा, हाँ आपके 2 डिपार्टमेंट इंटरव्यूज थे, आप कम्युनिकेशन वाले के लिए क्यों गए?
नाइस।
तो मैंने बोला कि आई डिडंट नो कि मुझे दोनों के लिए अलग-अलग इंटरव्यूज देनी है। तो उन्होंने मेरे से पूछा था अच्छा मुझे अभी बताएं कि आपका प्रेफरेंस कौन सा है? आई टोल्ड देम ओके फाइन आर्ट, आई वाज नेचुरली इंक्लाइंड कि मे बी फाइन, आई वांट टू डू फाइन आर्ट, आई डू फाइन आर्ट। देन ओके आपको कैंसिल कर रहे हैं ये कम्युनिकेशन डिजाइन वाली इंटरव्यू, स्ट्राइक ऑफ कर रहे हैं, एंड ठीक है ये हो गया। आई वाज वेरी एप्रीहेंसिव कि पता नहीं क्या होने वाला है। मैंने तो राइट ऑफ कर दिया था कि सच अ डिजास्टर्स इंटरव्यू वेयर आई हैव नो आइडिया व्हाट दे आर थिंकिंग, कोई सवाल नहीं पूछा, कुछ ये नहीं पूछा, लाइक ओके ठीक है दैट्स फाइन। By that time, I had gotten my acceptance letter from Karachi University. Uh, I think I had made up my mind कि okay, Karachi University is fine. I'll just go there. ठीक है. But I still waited for the NCA
आंसर।
roll number. हाँ, जो वो बोर्ड पे दिखाते हैं।
सही।
I think ऑनलाइन भी दिखाते हैं। ऑनलाइन आना था। हाँ हाँ, वो ऑनलाइन
अच्छा,
आना था।
मेरा तो जो एडमिशन लेटर था वो मेरे एनसीए में आने के बाद कोयटा पहुंचा था। मतलब मुझे मुझे याद है कि मेरा आशूरा था और आशूरे के 3 दिन बाद मेरा इंटरव्यू था, और 1 दिन पहले या 2 दिन पहले, मतलब 5 दिन के गैप से मुझे एनसीए लाहौर से कमर साहब थे उस वक्त डिपार्टमेंट में, उनका फ़ोन आता है कि जी आपका इंटरव्यू है और हमने आपसे कोई वो रिस्पांस रिसीव नहीं किया कि आप इंटरव्यू के लिए आ रहे हैं या नहीं आ रहे। और मैंने कहा जी मुझे तो पता ही नहीं है कि मेरा इंटरव्यू। कहते नहीं नहीं आपका इस तारीख को इंटरव्यू है और आपने लाहौर आना है और आप इंटरव्यू के लिए आ जाएं। इट वाज वेरी वेरी सरप्राइजिंग फॉर मी। तो जिस तरह आप कह रहे हैं कि आपका इंटरनेट पे आना था, मतलब आई हैव नो क्लू, मतलब हमें तो पता ही नहीं था कि हमारा सिलेक्शन हुआ है और मेरा इंटरव्यू भी होना है। तो एनसीए के कुछ
Exactly.
चीज़ें तो बहुत अच्छी थी, लेकिन कुछ बड़े नेक्स्ट लेवल ब्लंडर्स भी थे। लेकिन अगेन वो लेटर
हाँ
अपेरेंटली एनसीए ने टीसीएस के थ्रू भेजा था, और मेरी अम्मी ने जब वो लेटर रिसीव किया तो मेरी अम्मी ने वो जो टीसीएस का नुमाइंदा था उससे ये बात कही कि बेटा वो तो इंटरव्यू दे चुका है, जिस चीज़ का आप लेटर लेकर आए वो हो चुका है। हाँ, तो वो भी 2 दिन बाद मुझे कोयटा में मेरे घर पहुंचा था। इट वॉज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग।
अरे पे and I when I got in, जब मैं उस पे भी एक फनी इंसिडेंट ये था कि I had asked उस वक्त I had gone out to some assignment so I could not check इंटरनेट पे कि नाम आए हैं नहीं आया, so I asked somebody else to look it up please और मुझे बता देना। उन्होंने देखा और उन्होंने बोला सॉरी फराज नहीं आया। उन्होंने बोला ओके ठीक है,
अच्छा,
दैट्स फाइन, कराची यूनिवर्सिटी इट इज ग्रेट। घर पहुंचा रात के 12 बजे। मैं सोचा है मुझे चुल थी
मैं
कि
भी तो
यार
देखूं।
चेक करना है। हाँ मैं भी तो देखूँ। एनसी की वेबसाइट, हाँ आई थिंक एनसी की वेबसाइट पे थी। हाँ
वेबसाइट तो थी।
वहाँ पे चेक किया कि वहाँ क्या है, वहाँ आई थिंक वहीं कराची के सीट्स थे। लेकिन जो वेबसाइट पे पता चला कि मैं जिनसे मैंने पूछा था कि देखने को, दे वर लुकिंग एट द फर्स्ट पेज और उसके बाद और भी पेजेस हैं। द फर्स्ट पेज पे आई थिंक बलूचिस्तान का वो था मेरिट लिस्ट
अच्छा अच्छा।
और फाइनल पे मेरा नाम नहीं था। 3-4 पेजेस बाद सिंध का आता है और वहाँ से पता चला कि आउट ऑफ जो मेरिट आई मेड इट ऑन द मेरिट
अमेजिंग।
लिस्ट। और रात के 12 बजे मैं जाके अबू को
यो
बताया
अब्बू,
कि हाँ
मैं इनसे जा रहा हूँ, आपका बेटा
अबू
इनसे जा रहा है।
नाम आ गया है, गलती से गलत देखा था, नाम आ गया है। अब ने से पूछा अच्छा बताओ जाना है, यस।
ऑफ कोर्स।
और वहाँ से फिर दिसंबर वी वेंट टू एनसीए लाहौर। पहली बार मैं कभी लाहौर गया हूँ और स्पेसिफिकली एनसीए के लिए। और जाके जो भी था आई थिंक डिपॉजिट करना था
हाँ, शुरू में वो कुछ फीस डिपॉजिट
और
करनी होती
भी
थी।
करना था। डिपॉजिट करनी थी और आप क्लियरेंस फॉर्म वो चीज़ जो भी था वो फॉर्म लेना था। एंड वी केम बैक टू कराची। और फिर हाँ, क्या फरवरी में शुरू हुआ
हमारा
था
फरवरी
हमारा?
में
फेब में था
2012
ना?
फरवरी में शुरू हुआ था। 11 के एंड
फेब
में वी वर सपोज टू सबमिट एवरीथिंग इन, आई थिंक सितंबर और अक्टूबर, समथिंग लाइक दैट।
हाँ
क्योंकि
हाँ।
क्योंकि एक
और जब
एनसीए का
एक्सेप्टेंस
ये
आ
भी
गया
है
था
ना
तो
कि क्योंकि पूरे पाकिस्तान से स्टूडेंट्स ने आना होता है, तो सिंध वाले बच्चों का थोड़ा सा टाइम आगे होता है, बलूचिस्तान वाले बच्चों का टाइम पहले होता है।
यस।
जैसे मेरे टेस्ट अगस्त में हुए थे, और अभी भी जब मैं एनसीए का देखता हूँ तो वो टेस्ट डेट्स वो महीने का पूरा, मतलब एक्चुअली में महीनों का गैप आ रहा होता है उसमें, कि अगर केपीके का हो रहा है तो फिर
यस।
सिंध का 1 महीने तक का गैप आ रहा होता है उसमें। ऑफ कोर्स पूरे पाकिस्तान से बच्चे उधर अप्लाई करते हैं तो वो है तो सही।
एग्जैक्टली। एंड इनसे का मैंने वो ट्रिप पे बस बहुत ही छोटा ट्रिप था। लिटरली हम शायद 3 दिन
रैगिंग नहीं देखी एनसीए की उस दिन वहाँ पे?
उस नहीं, क्योंकि मैं स्पेसिफिकली अब्बू के साथ
हम्म
गया था। अ, मैंने ऐसा कुछ नहीं देखा था कि वो छुप रहा है, क्योंकि आई थिंक वी जस्ट वेंट टू द नॉट रजिस्ट्रार ऑफिस, जो एडमिन ऑफिस है। बस वहाँ गए थे और वहाँ से वापस चले गए थे। एनसी एनसी का ऐसा कुछ नहीं देखा था। मैं सोचा भी नहीं था कि कुछ देखना है, मैं बाद में आगे देख लूंगा जब एडमिशन हो ही गया। फिर जब फरवरी में आए थे फिर
वो बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग था यार।
चीज़ें नजर आ रही, बहुत
आई
इंटरेस्टिंग
वाज
था।
जस्ट शॉक्ड।
काफी
मतलब
बात।
मुझे तो ऑनेस्टली मुझे तो रैगिंग लफ्ज़ भी नहीं पता था कि ये कोई चीज़ भी होती है ज़िंदगी में।
सेम।
मतलब आई हैड नो क्लू कि ये क्या है,
100%।
ये क्या ये क्या चीज़ है। एंड वाज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग। मेरा इस तरह हुआ था कि मैंने ख़ुद जो एफएससी की थी उस वक़्त मुझे हुआ था कि जी मैं चूँकि एयरफोर्स कॉलेज में पढ़ रहा था कोयटा में, फ़िज़ाई इंटरनेशनल, आई डोंट नो व्हाई दे कॉल इट इंटरनेशनल, बट फ़िज़ाई इंटरनेशनल कॉलेज समूंगली, मतलब एयरफोर्स ही है, मतलब
नाम सुन के।
पाकिस्तान गई है। हाँ सही बात है, मतलब व्हाई इज़ इट इंटरनेशनल। बट एनीवेज,
क्योंकि आप हवा में हो, इंटरनेशनल
हाँ
हवा में
हवा तो इंटरनेशनल है, इसमें तो कोई शक नहीं है। तो बेसिकली ये था कि वहाँ पे मेरे कुछ अ, वहाँ पे चूँकि कुछ क्रिश्चियन म्यूजिशियंस थे, अगेन
हम्म।
म्यूज़िक का जो कम्युनिटी से भी बड़ा ताल्लुक़ रखता है। तो आपको मैंने कभी कोई मुस्लिम म्यूजिशियन अपनी कम्युनिटी में नहीं देखा, जो कि सच बात है। मेरा जो पहला एक्सपोजर था वो
हाँ।
एयरफोर्स कॉलेज में, जो वहाँ पे एक म्यूज़िक टीचर था प्राइमरी सेक्शन का, जो कि परफॉर्मेंसेस करता था, और अलामा इकबाल डे के लिए मैं परफॉर्मेंस के लिए तैयार हुआ हुआ था। तो वहाँ पे मैंने पहली बार म्यूज़िक देखा था और मुझे लगा था यार ये कितनी इंटरेस्टिंग जॉब है, मतलब यू गेट पेड टू प्ले समथिंग दैट यू लाइक। एंड आई वाज लाइक यार दिस इज़ सच एन अमेजिंग थिंग, व्हाई एम आई जॉइनिंग एयर फोर्स, इट्स जस्ट दिस इज़ व्हाट आई नीड टू डू। और फिर मैं गया था लाहौर, और वहाँ पे जो YMCA है, वहाँ पे मैंने ड्राइंग की क्लासेस अटेंड की थी और गिटार क्लासेस ले रहा था, क्योंकि मेरी फैमिली का कुछ ये भी था, क्योंकि मेरे भाई का एक दोस्त था जो कि ग्राफिक डिज़ाइन में चला गया था। इनिशियली वो भी NCA गया था, लेकिन फिर वो NCA छोड़ के
हम्म।
कराची चला गया, क्योंकि आई डोंट नो व्हाई बट ही वाज नॉट एबल टू कंटिन्यू विद NCA। तो मेरे भाई को ये था कि तुम ग्राफिक डिज़ाइन में चले जाओ, क्योंकि हम कंप्यूटर गेम्स खेलते थे तो हमें पता था कि वीडियो गेम में ग्राफिक्स होते हैं और उसमें करेक्टर होते हैं
एग्जैक्टली।
और आपको करेक्टर ड्रॉ करने पड़ते हैं। साउंड डिज़ाइन का नहीं पता था
हम्म।
उस वक्त हमें, लेकिन मेरे लिए उस वक्त भी
वही।
एक गेम थी डेविल मे क्राई। अगर आप मुझसे पूछें कि
यस।
मैंने ये ज़िंदगी में साउंड डिज़ाइन का एक चैप्टर कहाँ से शुरू होता है, डेविल मे क्राई वॉज द फर्स्ट गेम वेयर आई रियलाइज्ड that the music is very dynamic and it keeps on changing and it doesn't remain the same. क्योंकि बाकी जो गेम्स
हाँ।
थी आई डोंट थिंक दे वर दैट गुड, या उनमें उस तरह का म्यूज़िकल वो था। हालांकि प्रिंस ऑफ पर्शिया भी थी, सब कुछ था, लेकिन बट आई पर्सनली फील दैट डेविल मे क्राई कैपकॉम gave me this idea of like मुझे था कि there is something technical going around। एंड इवेंचुअली NCA
या।
में भी जब एडमिशन लेटर, जब मुझे एप्लीकेशन सबमिट करवानी थी, तो मैंने अपने अब्बू से यही कहा था कि म्यूज़िक इज़ समथिंग जो मुझे पीस प्रोवाइड करता है, एज अपोज टू ड्राइंग और पेंटिंग और वट एवर, मतलब मैं नहीं कनेक्ट कर सकता
हाँ।
उससे। तो इस तरह फिर हम, और फिर इवेंचुअली वी मेट इन NCA। दैट वाज इंटरेस्टिंग।
यस।
तो NCA जब आप आ गए, NCA में आपने अपना बैचलर स्टार्ट किया, ओबियसली फर्स्ट ईयर में एक डिफरेंट लेवल की स्ट्रगल होती है, सेकंड ईयर की डिफरेंट स्ट्रगल थी, थर्ड ईयर में एक बिल्कुल डिफरेंट चैप्टर था, और फोर्थ ईयर which is again a very important year in NCA. How do you describe these 4 years and what were you thinking? Because इन 4 साल से पहले आपको नहीं पता कि आपने आर्ट्स में अपना करियर बनाना है, एंड देन यू आर सडनली इन दिस कम्युनिटी वेयर इट्स जस्ट आर्ट एंड आर्ट एंड आर्ट। और अब आप कैसे
यस।
उसको देख रहे थे, और आपको क्या लगता है कि जो वो 4 साल का एक्सपीरियंस है वो किस तरह का था? किस ईयर में आपने क्या सीखा, आपने कब क्या डिसाइड किया, क्या आप बता सकते हैं इस बारे में?
हाँ। To sum it up, it was very, very eye-opening, very educational, and very uh, life-building, because everything I am now, it has a lot to do with NCA. Like my major learning has come from NCA. Okay, first year में that amount of exposure that you get through the field trips, through the seminar classes, that foundation is very important. उसके बगैर I had no idea what was happening, and it really enriched everything that I was doing. I was part of a music society, the West Music Society as well. और वहाँ पे जो learning हो रही थी, it was completely thrilling. Second year, in second year, we had more specific training to fine arts. We got to learn through artist talks about who is an artist, कौन कौन artists हैं, beyond our own teachers, what they do, art shows क्या होते हैं, uh, what has happened in the world, globally, in history, locally in history. Uh, my favorite classes were the seminar classes, 100%, because they gave me so much exposure to things that I would never would have gotten. I was very happy with the studio classes as well, but the seminar classes were short and informative. And studio classes were more about perseverance and pushing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And second year, we had in the fine art department, we had basic 2 month training. Yeah, I think 2 months. Yeah, 1 month training fee in regards to specific disciplines of painting, miniature, sculpture, and printmaking. All throughout second year, I loved all of those electives, but it was a very specific artist talk with Aisha Khalid that really, really got me interested in miniature painting. And that is something that had so much, I felt was really interesting as an art form that eventually made me decide that I'd want to continue with miniature painting. And in my second year, I found that it's something that I can improve and something that I really enjoy doing. Obviously, painting, my main thought process was that painting, printmaking, sculpture are very um, enveloping. They cover so many things. But miniature painting is something very, very specific and highly specialized. I should pursue that and learn all from that because I can do all the rest of these things somewhat. And in my second year, I also figured out that if you do not go learn things yourself, you will never be taught them.
Mm-hmm.
I should not be waiting or expecting things to be taught to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that I had learned from my internship as well, because by that time, because of my natural interest in comic making and anime and manga, uh, I learned Photoshop, I learned Illustrator, all of these things on my own through trial and error, and I got better at it. And even with miniature painting and all these different disciplines, I would look up techniques, I would ask teachers. I had a certain way of doing things, and I had a lot of helpful teachers as well who would show me कि ये नहीं ये करो ऐसे करो ऐसे करो.
Can you name those
Uh,
inspirational
but
teachers? जैसे आयशा खालिद inspired you to join miniature, और obviously उनका स्टाइल भी बड़ा
her
ज़बरदस्त
artwork,
है.
her art practice, her art practice definitely showed me the scope of what is possible with miniature painting.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that I was really interested because this is in second year. This is where I was beginning to form my own philosophy as well.
Uh-huh.
I was always interested, yeah, in understanding my surroundings and understanding philosophy and reading and figuring out what things mean and what a relation is
Mm-hmm.
to the universe and all these different things. So NC provided that comforting environment that allowed me to pursue all these education the way I wanted to pursue it. कि मैं चीज़ें साइड पे भी पढ़ रहा हूँ, मैं चीज़ें साइड पे भी सीख रहा हूँ. यहाँ पे कुछ काम है, यहाँ पे काम है, do this, do that. I had friends in all these different departments. I would figure out वहाँ क्या हो रहा है, ये क्या हो रहा है.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and
Or
हाँ, second year is where
basically, just one more thing, like uh, how did you feel about the faculty in NCA? How were they? क्योंकि एक बात तो क्लियर है कि with every year there is a new type of faculty that you meet, and they develop your brain in a
yes,
different way. But who were the people in
yes.
first year and second year that you, as a faculty, that you felt that yes, these guys inspire me or they guide me to move forward?
I think one of they were very personal. They were very personal um, examples that happened. Like when we had first year foundation drafting, there was Surfara
Mm-hmm.
who pushed me to try to make my drafting
Mm-hmm.
better. and I really felt that this is one teacher who really is concerned about me, and it really pushed me to improve crafting, and that I really liked. Uh, I think all the other teachers in our foundation year course, they had very, they had their way of teaching. They all of them had done a very exceptional job. But this was like one personal experience with Sir Farhan that made me really respect him,
Mm-hmm.
and more than the others.
Mm-hmm.
In second year, it was who was in second year? Again, I'm forgetting a lot of the teachers.
But that's fine because it doesn't need to be someone from second year. क्योंकि एक चीज़ ये भी होती है कि आप first.
No, no, no. I'm just thinking myself कि कौन
हम्म.
कौन थे. It was, I think, in it was in third year where I had my art seminar
Mm-hmm.
teachers. Oh, sorry, second year and third year where I had my specific seminar
Mm-hmm.
teachers who really, really helped me understand what I want from
Mm-hmm.
art. It was Mamalia Nurani, there was Fatma Heather, and there was Dua Basrizvi.
Okay.
And these three teachers in my seminar classes really, really helped me, and Fatma Heather for our drawing class, and Mariam Hussain. They really helped me understand what art can be. They really exposed me to what art can be, and through movies, through film, through readings, and all these different things that helped me uh, figure out who I wanted to be, what kind of person I wanted to be. Um, Technically speaking, all the other teachers did a very good job. We had uh, getting all these different names. So Talpur we had for painting. We had obviously Bashir Ahmed. This was his last year in second when I'm in my second year,
Mm-hmm.
2013. Wait, no, no, sorry,
14.
2014.
13
14
leading
is
to
where you're
14.
now 30. 13 leading to 14. That was where that was his last year where we had direct tutelage from him,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and that really helped. I feel understanding what miniature is all about, what kind of discipline it is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's overall being exposed to all these different teachers and different art practices that really helped me moving forward. Uh, and in fourth year, in my thesis year, again, I had a lot of help from Sir Imran Qureshi and again Safran, whom I would go to ask about. Salman was still our internal advisor as well for the miniature
Nice.
department, and I find out overall. But they really helped me with ideas, and they really helped me focus and figure things out. Especially Salman, where he told me that if you're doing something, make sure that it has maximum impact, and don't just settle for art that just reaches the limit of your capacity. Try and push beyond your capacity. That will help. That is where you find art that truly uh, serves your artistic concerns or serves who you are as a person. And this one friend I would like to mention over here, Saira Ansari. Um, she is an NC graduate, and she had a very specific blog called the Saira Ansari. I'm forgetting the name of the blog is the Saira Ansari Project. Yes,
Okay.
the Saira Ansari Project. That was something that I was following since my dawn time back in 2011. That is where I got my understanding of what art is capable of and who is there in the Pakistani art scene. And I was very active on Twitter then as well. And I got to meet, in Lahore, I got to meet Abdullah Qureshi, who I was like talking to on Twitter with Gallery 39K. Saira, I met uh, like face to face after like years of knowing her through NCA and through the Saira Ansari project. I met her in Dubai, where Sir Imran Qureshi took us to um, fourth year students and a couple of other artists,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, to see Art Dubai.
हाँ, आई रिमेम्बर
And
आप लोगों का प्रोजेक्ट हुआ था.
yeah, that was a very important milestone for my education as well, because that exposed me to so many people, to so many different things that were happening in the global art
Mm-hmm.
market. And I met Suleiman Khilji. I met at that on that trip. I met who else was there?
But you met a number of people who were already working in the field and
Yes,
you learned that अच्छा
exactly.
यार ये सारी
And I met
possibilities हैं.
Saran Sai, and I also yes, and I also managed to meet one of my personal artistic heroes,
Oh,
Lalo,
amazing.
in Dubai during Dubai, and she was there. In Saira and Sai introduced us, and that was just this experience was really opened my eyes to what was possible in art and what it means to be an
Mm-hmm.
artist and a visual artist, not just a miniature painter. ठीक है आपने एक चीज सीख ली है, but there's so much more that you are capable of. And that this entire experience, starting from my foundation year of an understanding of what art is, up until my fourth year, where I was completely immersed in the idea of an artist. NC gave me that environment. NC gave me those opportunities to figure things out, to learn and find avenues and learn, meet with all sorts of different people from all walks of life,
Mm-hmm.
and learn about what are institutions that are there that we have. We had the LLF, we had the लाहौर बिनाले, आई थिंक उसमें था उसके बिल्कुल बाद इमीडिएटली बाद शायद हुआ था. But if I think about it, I would not put one year over the other. I think all of them had their individual roles. Like even looking back right now, I view all of them as important as the rest. I would not say कि fourth year मैंने सबसे ज़्यादा या इस year मैंने सबसे ज़्यादा सीखा
Mm-hmm.
था. Each of them had their own impact, and I feel that is what I would
और
categorize
एनसीए की
them
एक
as.
और बहुत अच्छी बात ये थी कि obviously I was in a different department. I was studying musicology. So I had a very different experience of NCA. But even within musicology, जो
Yes,
मेरा class fellow है, he has a different experience as opposed to what I am experiencing. And I think that's
100%.
what in your case was as well. What you were experiencing in NCA is something completely different than what Onastaji might have felt or anyone else from the department must have felt. So that is completely
Exactly.
understandable. And then in
Mm.
2016, you graduated from NCA with amazing artwork. What happened after that?
After 2016, what happened after 2016? Uh, it
The
was
real life.
by that time, real life hit definitely, because by that time, I had made it clear that if I'm staying in, I would want to stay in
Mhm,
Lahore. I had made it clear my opportunities here are more than I would want anywhere else. Obviously, my because I came from Karachi, I experienced Lahore very differently. I was living with my one of my khalas, extended
mhm,
khalas, and it was I think in fourth year, my family had already started moving in
mhm,
as well, because when Abu had gotten a job offer in Lahore, which was perfect timing, and he could move in with the rest of the family over here. And in 2016, uh, I had basically gotten a taste of what it's like to work in the real world, because I had a couple of offers to do shows, group shows, and I did not work in a I did not work at a physical job um, up until 2017, and in 2016 was all about uh, taking that year and figuring out what kind of art, where my art was leading me with the group shows. Karachi में भी shows हुए थे, लाहौर में भी हुए थे. I think there's one in Islamabad as well. Because of my independence in Lahore, I had access to a car. I had access to go to Islamabad whenever I wanted. Um, but I would spend all of my time in Lahore.
Mm-hmm.
That is what made me make that decision कि लाहौर ही मैंने
Stay करना.
सब कुछ करना stay करना है.
Also, Lahore
And
became
in
like
Lahore,
our city because we walked on
yes,
the
because we
streets
explored
and
and we found things out. Yes, and that is the one thing with NC as well. Yeah, you're forced to explore
yeah.
everything. Okay, they give you the push कि यहाँ जाना है, and then you find everything out on your own. And because I got lost in Lahore so many times, I managed to learn all the roads and streets, and it was very enjoyable for me to figure
और
things out.
सबसे इंटरेस्टिंग बात, लाहौरियों
And
से जब भी रास्ता पूछें वो आपको गलत रास्ता बताते हैं.
उस वक्त गूगल मैप्स नहीं होता था, उस वक्त सिर्फ लाहौर मैप्स होता
सही बात है यार. मैं कल आई वाज जस्ट शेयरिंग विद समवन yesterday, I don't remember who. मैं उनको यही बात कह रहा था कि जब मैंने ग्रेजुएशन की थी उस वक़्त तो करीम भी नहीं आई हुई थी.
था.
मतलब लाहौर में करीम का सीन नहीं
Yes.
था. और फिर जब इवेंचुअली मतलब 6 7 8 महीने के बाद ही फिर इतना ज़्यादा करीम हो गई थी. एंड इट वाज सो फैसिलिटेटिंग एंड सो इजी टू डू थिंग्स. बट जब हम लोग कर रहे थे तब मुश्किल था. और फिर आप जब हमसे पिछले वाले ग्रुप्स को देखें जिनके पास मोबाइल फ़ोन भी नहीं थे, उनके लिए कितना मुश्किल था चीज़ें मैनेज करना. बट अगेन टेक्नोलॉजी के कुछ फ़ायदे भी थे, कुछ नुकसान भी थे. हम उतने डिसाइसिव भी नहीं रहे,
हाँ.
वो वाले लोग ज़्यादा डिसाइसिव थे. तो ये भी कुछ एलिमेंट्स हैं. आई एग्री. तो फराज फिर 2017 में
And
यू स्टार्टेड वर्किंग इन ए स्कूल, आई गेस.
yes, I started working at an LGS branch. That was an opportunity I got through a friend, Nurma. She was already teaching over there, but she had to leave because I think she wanted to pursue other avenues. I think she wanted to do her master's as well and move back to Islamabad. And I gave the interview. I got the job. I was there for 2017 up until 2022.
Oh nice, so you left it now.
Yes. Uh-huh. I'm working at another. I left that branch. I'm working at another LGS branch right
Okay.
now. And these past 4 years, 5 years, I've done work in every sort of capacity I could find. Um, I did a couple of illustrations, एक दो चीज़ों के लिए on the side. I had a lot of commissions that I worked on. I earned a lot through sales as well of my paintings at art shows. But all of that would go back into the art practice. None of that money ever saw um, substantial staying power. कि होता है ना कि आप महीने में काम कर रहे हो और महीने में आपको उसका reward मिल रहा है. That I only earned through my job at LGS for a time. 2 साल वहाँ काम करना था. And 2019 में through another reference, I got this job at the newly opened Como
Yes.
Museum as manager, managing director, and curatorial assistant. And that job helped me in so many different ways. It made me earn good living. It made me really happy to work over there. And I got to learn so much in terms of curatorial practice, in terms of how you stay afloat in this industry of doing these kinds of projects. I got to work with so many wonderful people. I got to meet a lot of senior artists and artists of international standard, and uh, it really helped me figure out things about what I wanted, and it really helped me uh, get better at my own practice as well, where I was doing so much at the museum that I got better at decision making. I figured out what I needed to do, when I needed to do it. I learned about practices regarding material construction, physical construction, building construction, all these different things. It was an all encompassing job. that really push you to figure things out on your own
Because you were
and
the
explore and
manager,
get results very
not
quickly.
just you were not just managing shows, you were managing the museum as well, right? So you were supposed to deal with all these other things as
Exactly.
well, कि bulb change करवाना है, फलाने बंदे को बुलाना है, and this needs to be
Exactly.
fixed, this needs to be fixed,
And
and this show requires these things, we need to
mm,
repaint or whatever, and all these things were there.
obviously, I had a very personally as a person, I have a very do-it-yourself
Hmm.
attitude. कि कुछ चीज करनी है तो खुद करनी
Mm-hmm.
है. And that attitude has helped me figure things
Mm-hmm.
out. NCA में भी I would go to branch where I would find out कि material क्या है, tools क्या है, कैसे काम करते हैं. After NCA, I met so many other people, so many other artists, and at the museum, I figured out कि अच्छा ये काम ऐसा होता है, contractor ये काम करता है, all these different things. कि it really publishing ऐसे करनी है, design ऐसे करना है. It was also I was also designing a lot of things for the museum, like uh, Instagram posts and all these different things. It really helped me polish my
Mm-hmm.
skills. Where even to this day, I'm helping people work on catalogs,
Mm.
on brochures. I'm helping. I've I left the museum after 3 years in 2022 because I started in 2019. This was during COVID as well. I was still so
Help.
grateful for them to keep me employed, even though they weren't physically doing shows. And we learned how to do online shows. And
Mm-hmm.
they said my boss was a huge help to me. I can't thank her enough. And I figured out a lot of things as well about our industry, about entrepreneurship, about philanthropy, about how our system works, and what you need to
Mm-hmm.
do in order to get by. I learned a lot of things. There were a lot of things that were very eye opening about class differences, about privilege, about what you have access to, what you do not have access to. Um, and up until then, my very recent,
Mm-hmm.
it was a very personal decision that I had to make, that I felt that I had learned whatever I could
Mashallah.
from the job. And there were very personal reasons as well that I could not continue with the job at Como anymore. Um, my family grew. I had a son in
Every
2022.
day is a month when you have a baby
Um,
and you spend
it's
all
almost
this time.
it's been 12 months. No, not 12. Sorry, it's been 10 months,
Yes.
11 months now. Yes, every day is a month
Mm.
now, and exactly. I met my wife Kanza in NCA. We grew very close together in 20 uh,
Mm-hmm.
fourth year में. Yes, 2015, 2015, 16. And she has been an amazing pillar of strength for me. We got engaged in 2017, and her family was so understanding.
Nice.
Um
Nice.
because we got engaged when I didn't have a job. I started my first job in 2017 after my engagement, and I had gotten a proper job. And
मतलब वो वाली बात है ना कि बेटा आप आर्टिस्ट बन के क्या करेंगे,
exactly,
तो यहाँ पे एक आर्टिस्ट है जिसके पास शादी भी होगी है एंड थिंग्स आर हैपनिंग
uh,
एंड यू आर सर्वाइविंग.
and
आई
because I
थिंक.
knew what I wanted. I think that is the one thing that has kept me afloat so far, is that I know what I want now after NCA. I know what I want. This is what I want. I have to get it any way I can, whether it's doing small jobs, यहाँ पे that pay a one-time commission, one-time project, working on all these different projects, handling two jobs because I was working at the museum and I was working at school as well, and my school was accommodating me as well, shifting me to part-time instead of full-time. Um, where things I was juggling all these different things, and then when I got to know that my family was going to grow, I realized that I could only focus on one of these things at the same time. The museum job
Mm-hmm.
was 24/7, and raising a family is 24/7. I could not do both of those
Yes.
things at the same time. And I was still thinking that, ठीक है, I'll still do what I do. I'll look for another job because by this time after COVID, things have gotten very, very difficult. You
Mm-hmm.
cannot live on dual incomes. You need multiple incomes to run a house, to raise a family, all of those different things. And mhm,
और फिर दूसरी बात ये भी थी कि आफ्टर कोविड स्पेशली पाकिस्तान में, and although the government that was running Pakistan during COVID, they did a very good job, but the people, लोग इतने stubborn थे, और लोगों ने तो बिल्कुल मतलब बात माननी नहीं है ना किसी की। और इस
exactly.
सब चीज़ों का इम्पैक्ट इस तरह से भी पड़ा हमें कि हमारा बिजनेस ग्रो नहीं कर सका कोविड के बाद। बहुत सारे लोग जिन्होंने अपना बिजनेस स्टार्ट किया था कोविड में, या जो लोग उस वक्त स्टार्ट कर रहे थे, obviously no one knew COVID is going to happen.
हाँ,
So they lost a good fortune of their money and their resources during this COVID. और उसका एक इम्पैक्ट ये भी था कि आफ्टर कोविड चूँकि लोग उसको सीरियस नहीं ले रहे थे मसले को,
yes.
सॉरी, तो लोगों के सीरियस ना लेने की वजह से वो
Yes.
इम्पैक्ट प्रोलॉन्ग होता गया है, और वो अभी भी प्रोलॉन्ग हो रहा है क्योंकि हम एक डेवलपिंग कंट्री से हैं और हमारी इकॉनमी डेवलप नहीं हो रही।
100%.
हम उसकी कोशिश कर रहे हैं और ये मसला चल रहा है और इसका हम सब पे इम्पैक्ट हुआ था। तो ये बात सही है कि अभी जो करंट सिचुएशन है उसमें इट्स वेरी डिफ़िकल्ट टू फाइनेंस योर फैमिली विद जस्ट इनकम।
I'm also part of मैं ये भी view रखता हूँ कि our systems are designed to benefit only a certain class of
यस,
people.
डेफिनेटली।
Everything else is made with that nature in mind. To progress or to improve your financial situation is going to be difficult for everybody, but never more difficult than the working class have it, than the middle class have it. Middle class तो खत्म हो ही जाएगा आहिस्ता आहिस्ता करके. But all these financial situations, all these financial realities depend on uh,
What part of community you belong from?
exactly, because of my education all throughout. I managed to become an educator because of my family's acceptance, because of my wife's acceptance, because of her family's acceptance. I was able to build a life that I am proud of, that I am happy with, and that I would want to improve. So these things are always at the back of my mind, with all of my self doubt. जो कि रहता है हमेशा. You have to persevere because there are things involved. There are responsibilities on you, and you just have to persevere.
तो फराज, अब इस वक्त आप क्या कर रहे हैं? मतलब हाउ आर यू मैनेजिंग? यू आर डूइंग दिस स्कूल जॉब, आई सी दैट through your LinkedIn that you
Yes,
are still doing that
in a
job,
different
and
country.
again at the same time you are developing this amazing artwork and you are doing these shows. What else are you doing? Like, how can people connect with you? And you mentioned that you are doing this
Yes,
commission jobs. So do you receive these jobs through Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook? How
it
do you do
is
these things?
mostly through networking and knowing uh, certain people. I have done a couple of commissions. They are slow, but I have also been able to sell a lot of my work through Instagram, where people have figured
Oh,
out
nice.
um, who I am and what I do, and they really enjoy my artistic practice. The shows that I've been doing so far, it is through my NCA network as well that I have that association. That because I am an NCA graduate, I am an alumnus of NCA. That there's a certain level of trust that this person can do the job that is required. I've worked with print media, I've worked with digital media a lot. Currently, right now, I'm um, really into filmmaking and making films alongside all these different avenues that uh,
Nice.
things open, doors open for you where you go knocking. If you don't knock those doors, they're never going
Hmm.
to open. And you have to find everything. Everything
That
is
is
there
true.
for everything, but obviously,
That
unless
is
you have
true.
that certain exposure, you don't know where to look. And maybe if I
Hmm.
find a project, if I'm asked to do something with print media or digital media, I would take up the opportunity. And I worked in sound design as well. I worked for with my friends, with my colleagues. I've helped all sorts of different people who I know, people I don't know, curate their exhibitions, help them in certain aspects of their exhibitions. Abibi, right now I'm working towards an exhibit, towards a artistic show that is happening next week. So there's a lot of work left, but it is 100% the friends that you make outside of NCA, not just in NCA. My main support group, I
Okay.
would call people who I have worked with outside of NCA that are still here and who have uh, similar views about our systems, about artistic practice and what it entails, about artistic ethics, all these different things. काम है, काम हो रहा है. Uh, I think if there's one thing that I would want to pursue going into it now, and something that I have been very active in pursuing, is jobs that have specifically to do with digital content creation, digital media. YouTube is something I want to pursue very
Okay.
seriously, and I'm
Nice.
working to pursue. Jobs entailing uh, YouTube or digital content where I can actively use my skills that I've accumulated and polished over the years. Video editing, sound design, musical composition, um, designing catalogs, designing brochures, designing, curating a space, curating a show. All these different things I have learned on my own and I have polished. And looking at platforms like Fiverr, looking at platforms that allow you to work with specific uh, mass platforms like YouTube. I'm looking into that a lot more now. Definitely, definitely. And applying.
Okay. That's good. That's good. So, for us, thank you very much for having this very detailed conversation with me. It's always very useful to have this kind of conversation. And once again, and the reason I wanted your side of the story to be conveyed in your way because I feel that there are so many people who are trying to pursue things, but it's difficult to find the right content and the right amount of
Yes.
material they need to understand. And हम बहुत सारी चीज़ों को बहुत ग्लोरीफाई करके दिखाते हैं अपने पॉडकास्ट और अपने सारे
Hmm.
जो चैनल्स हैं. तो जितना रियलिस्टिक हो उतना अच्छा होता है, ताकि जो न्यू जनरेशन है, जो नए बच्चे आ रहे हैं, जो नए लोग जो सीखना चाहते हैं ये काम, उनके लिए वो चीज़ें ज़्यादा
Absolutely.
understandable or they can
And
actually
it's not just
understand
कि
that how
एक ही
things
तरीका
work.
है काम करने का. I am an artist who is comfortable because
हाँ.
I have been working multiple jobs. There are artists who work a single job.
Yes.
There are artists who work no job and then just earn
Yes.
through their artwork. All these possibilities are there,
Yes.
and luck, privilege, all these things, class systems, all these things definitely matter. But there are avenues, there are like-minded people, हैं जरूर हैं, who can help you grow, who can help you pursue things and make things better for yourself.
That's great. Thank you very much, Faraz. I hope that this works out well for all of us and people can learn.
Thank you so
So,
much, Kamraj. This was a
thank you.
wonderful opportunity. I loved being on here. Thank you for inviting me. काफी अच्छा हुआ
Yes.
बात करके.
Yes. Thank you.